Hello, everyone. Welcome to the next episode. My name is Mama Sarah. I own Conjured Cardia Incorporated. You can find me at shop.conjuredcardia.com, and I run a full service botanica. So we are here to provide you with all of your rare and unusual spell supplies, as well as your common staples, as well as tarot readings and a full line of spell work services. Today, I want to talk to you about offerings. Offerings, I think, is I don't want to say touchy subject for people, but people have a lot of questions about them. That's probably the thing I get asked the most about in my 25 years in this profession. And, if you've ever taken flowers to a cemetery or left coins on a grave, we can even take it a little bit further. Sometimes people will have pictures of their past loved ones up and maybe a few of their belongings. Maybe you'll have the picture there with, your grandma's watch or her rosary, or maybe you keep a little bottle of, whiskey that your auntie liked, and you keep that next to her photo. Anything like that is an offering. So you've probably done it in some way already in your lifetime. So it's really not that foreign. It's even less foreign when we realize that the majority of the belief systems around the world leave offerings. It is very, very common for there to be intricate and simple altars to ancestors and past loved ones. And the most simple offerings that you can leave will be fresh flowers, fresh water, maybe something like rum or whiskey or whatever spirit your ancestor or loved one preferred. And then another common offering we see is citrus. It is said that the dead love citrus, so things like oranges especially, and that they are always thirsty. And that's why we leave out water. There's also, I think there's a few steps when it comes to making outside offerings, say at a cemetery or just at the base of maybe a tree that you have assigned for this. That is something I personally do, is I will have a tree on my property that's sort of assigned to where I put all of my offerings. So once I perform my spell work and I'm done with the offerings for that spell, that is where I would dispose of them, in this sort of sacred designated area. And bringing up spell work, that's, I don't think they may not be doing it all the time, but I don't think they're going to disagree with me that offerings are necessary in order to ask favor or aid from a spirit, ancestor, or guide. In my tradition, it is very poor manners. Such poor manners that it would never even be considered to perform spell work without having an offering ready. That is just, you don't go around asking people for favors without offering them something in return. Because if we think about this in our everyday life, I'm sure you can think of a person who is always asking you for stuff, but, never really helps you out when you need it, right? Or, they're always asking to borrow $5, but they don't, it's not like they offer you anything extra when they have it. And what that does, whether we like it or not, it strains the relationship. So there has to be some reciprocity. You cannot just ask and ask and ask and take and take and take and expect spirits to continuously answer your requests or send aid to you. You have got to be making offerings. If you feel that your relationships with your spirits and your deities have been lacking, you need to start making regular offerings. I would suggest starting at once a week. This can be inside. The general rule is that when an offering is at a state to where you would no longer consume it, that is when you dispose of it outside. In the United States, we are kind of weird about food. It's like if anything sits out for more than a couple hours, we've got to throw it out, and that's a huge waste of food, and that's not how they do it around the world. So we need to kind of get over that societal quirk that we have. It's perfectly fine in a lot of countries to have food that is sat out for 24 hours. I myself do it all the time. I do not get ill from it. Obviously, I'm not speaking to people who have sensitive stomachs or digestion issues. But so typically after 2 to 3 days is probably when it starts looking like something you would not personally consume yourself. And that is when you dispose of it. Another rule is you cannot eat offerings. You do not offer food. Well, and I'll get to that next part. I'm getting ahead of myself. You do not offer food to someone and then snatch it away from them and eat it in front of them yourself. I should not have to explain that this is completely rude and uncouth behavior. That is never something that you would do. And if you would not do it to a person, you would not do it to a spirit, an ancestor, or a guide, or a deity. If you want to commune with spirit and enjoy the same thing that you're offering them, you will need two of that thing. For instance, today I made an offering of coconut and fresh coconut meat and fresh coconut water. I love fresh coconut meat, fresh coconut water. My grandfather used to cut them down for me when I was little, and it is a fond memory that I have of him. And I also just absolutely, love the flavors and the taste and the textures. So I purchased two so that I could have one at the same time as I was offering it to my spirits and my guides. That is an acceptable way to do that. If you do not have twice the amount of something, if you do not have two of something, you cannot eat theirs. That is point blank out of line. We do not do that. That's a big no-no. Yeah, so we've sort of covered that. In regards to offerings outside, there are a few key steps that will help you with that. One is to prepare. Make sure that you have a bag ready to go to wherever the space is that you're going to be journeying to that has your food offering in it. You could put that in sort of a plastic container for the meantime, or maybe you're taking tobacco, or maybe you're taking some coins. Anything like that. If you're going to be doing anything like gathering herbs or maybe dirt while you are there, say you're going to the crossroads or something, you're going to want to have a jar with a lid and then a trowel or a spoon, some type of tool to be able to remove that with. I also keep a pair of flower cutting shears in my bag. If I want to harvest flowers to leave, at a separate site, or if there's an herb there that I want to harvest, again, make sure that you're leaving something in offering for those. Your second step is you better get used to feeling stupid. Humility is probably the biggest lesson to learn when you are leaving outdoor regular offerings. When you start doing it, you are going to feel stupid. You're going to feel silly. You're going to feel like everybody's looking at you. And I'm here to tell you that nobody cares about what you're doing. Everybody just cares about themselves and what they're doing. So don't worry about what you look like or anything like that. People typically mind their own business. But if you are out there and you're, putting down offerings and you're kind of trying to like gather your thoughts and your words to say a prayer or something, and you're just out there feeling like a straight up clown, that's how you know you're doing it right. I mean, honk honk, is bozos here. You know what I mean? You should be feeling like a straight up clown out there because you're doing it, and the action is what the action is all you need to be worried about, is that you are out there doing it. You are out there taking those steps, right? The guides recognize that. Your humility is a sacrifice in itself. When we do something out of our comfort zone, when we do something and we experience the humbleness from it, the humility from it, that being uncomfortable is a sacrifice in itself. So I want you to think about that, and at least getting that far in your offering. Even if you don't leave anything there, push yourself to take that first step, okay? Because you are doing this out of respect. That's the next thing. You are doing this out of respect. You want to be respectful and you want to create a relationship, maintain a relationship, and show reverence for your deities, ancestors, spirits, and guides. So just remember that. You can always keep bringing your thoughts back to that. That I'm doing this out of respect. I'm doing this out of honor. I'm doing this out of reverence. You can just keep repeating that to yourself and make it about them because it's not about you. Offerings are not about you, period. If you're doing it from a selfish place, if you're doing it to get something, they're going to know that and it's not going to work. So it's not about you. And that's another reason to not be, you're going to feel the embarrassment and the humility at first, but you can't go on about it because like I said, you got to stop thinking about yourself, remove yourself from the equation and think about the action and the reason that you're doing it. Um, I don't know. I was gonna try to do this in numbers, but now it's not really working out. So I'm just gonna go to the next parts. Don't litter. If you take a candle out there and burn it and the candle's in glass, you got to take it back with you, or you have to burn it down till it's done, and you need to take the glass with you and recycle it. If you take cigarettes out there, you need to empty the tobacco out of them and get rid of the filter. If you take foodstuffs out there and it's in wrappers or packaging, you cannot leave the packages in the wrappers. This should go without saying, but sometimes people just sort of want to I'm just gonna say it. Make it want to should be visible. I shouldn't have said that S word. Like it's like more impactful, it's like more dramatic. They want to see somebody like that they left that there and blah 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 blah. Again, it's not about you. Nobody cares. Don't be a litter bug. It's gross. Um, then I would say when we get down to talking about prayers and speaking words of respect, you do not need a pre-written prayer. I'm really against pre-written spells and prayers. I don't use those. It's best to just speak from your heart and state your intention the best way that you can. And if you stumble over your words, that's fine because the intention is what matters. It does not matter how eloquent of a speaker you are or what your vocabulary is like. Just do your best and speak from your heart, with respect and honor. And it's not going to matter if it's, you have some beautiful flowery prose. You know what I mean? Excuse me. So, and then really, the last thing I can say is rinse and repeat. Maintain that relationship, keep showing up, keep repeating these steps, and you will start to find that they're easier and words come easier. And that when you do need help, your requests are getting granted faster. And you're going to start seeing symbols of your deities or your spirits around. Any of us who work with spirits or deities, we know their colors and their symbols and sort of the iconography that goes along with them. And those will start to be more apparent to you because that connection is being made and the communication is being reciprocated. So you're actually starting to receive signals that you're being heard and listened to. But you do have to put in the work first. You do have to put in the effort first. So that's my little breakdown on offerings for today. I hope that it's helpful to you guys. I hope that it inspires you to go make an offering this week. I would love to hear about what offerings that you made. You don't have to tell me who you made them to. You can if you want. I understand, that's private a lot of times. But yeah, I hope this was helpful. I'm just trying to give you some straight up advice here from a 25 year professional witch and trying to make things just a little bit easier on you out there. Okay. And I will be back to talk to you again soon. I want y'all to be blessed. May wealth and peace and ease and protection flow to you from every area of your life.